Hello, thanks for watching. This is gonna be a lengthy video only for the true CNC router aficionados. Um, what are you gonna see? This is the newest CNC router that I've bought in China from Jinan in the Quick CNC factory in Jinan City. This is the exact moment that I see it for the first time. It's unloaded from the shipping container after 2 months at sea, nearly avoiding a war with Taiwan. It was just in that area when Nancy Pelosi landed over there. Sorry, I'm diverting. What I'm gonna show you is how we, with the local transportation company, pull this machine from its shipping container, which was already done, as you can see. How it is put on a truck, transported to our workshop, unloaded, and how we do the big unboxing fest that makes it quite a nice day. I'm just gonna watch it as you are watching it, and it's almost not edited. It's just a video with a friend of mine that has got a camera and just filmed it, and I'm just gonna talk about it. What I've bought from Jinan is from the Quick factory, the UA481. This model is this version on the crane right now has a working area of 2 by 4 meters. And why from Quick? Because I bought there before, and they are a big factory. They are professional, and it's a no-nonsense company. They don't have a big sales department. They just make nice machines, and that's why I buy from them. At the moment, you can see about 4,500 kilograms hanging on the crane. So also note that the really small pivoting point on the lower left of the crane is it's under so enormous momentum. It's unbelievable that it can handle this type of weight, and this is what was it? 8-ton crane, so easy, no problem. What I'm already noticing is that my English is quite rusty. I type a lot in English and read a lot in English, but using the technical terms is a bit rusty. So bear in mind. I'm Dutch, by the way. I live in Nijmegen in the Netherlands. It's a nice country. What you are seeing... Oh, he's putting out at this moment the load was tilting a truck, so we had to stabilize it again. It's all digitally monitored, so when something goes wrong you get a signal and the machine stops before you go too far and topple the crane. At this moment we are gonna turn it in the right direction so that we don't have to turn it around when we're inside. With these kinds of weight, you just want to limit all the moves you have to make. When you're on YouTube, you have the settings icon, the gear icon. You can just select that and put it. You can double the speed. So if you are at certain points in the video that you think this is quite boring, just skip along, no problem, of course. For me, it's just too much work to edit everything in one smooth video, so I'm just gonna watch it, have the microphone with me and a nice bottle of wine, and that's much quicker for me and much more fun than editing for 2 days and still deliver a crappy result because I cannot edit. The nice thing is you see a steel frame underneath the machine, the transportation frame. I have bought other machines in China, and I can honestly say that this transportation frame is better built than some of the machines that I have seen. If you're gonna spend a lot of money in China, just go there, fly there. They invite you to lunch, they invite you to dinner, they show you their factory. and you can see what's happening. For me, it was a real game changer. The difference is enormous. There are factories with enormous marketing departments and just an assembly line, and like Quick, they have a big production line. They make quality machines, and they yeah, they don't need for me. I buy the second machine from them sight unseen, just through WhatsApp, because the first machine I got from them was that good. And no, I'm not getting a penny for this. By the way, if you're asking, you see the guy that's cutting right now with the knife to unbox the thing, that's me. In my enthusiasm to get the machine open, I totally cut up quite a nice tarp that I needed, I think 2 hours later, to cover some timber, but yeah. What you can see is the machine with all the loose parts, like the vacuum pumps, control cabinet, stacked on top of the table, and everything is strapped down to the transportation crate. Now at the moment we are trying to decide how to remove the transportation crate from the machine, and by far the easiest way, when the transportation guys are still there, just lift it up again, then leave the pallets on the ground. As you can see, the machine is provided underneath with two slots for a forklift, or in this case we just slit the lifting straps through them. If you buy a small machine, they can leave the bridge attached. But for this size, to fit it in a shipping container, they have to remove the bridge and put it on the machine sideways. It's not difficult to mount, but you're gonna need a good forklift, or in my case, an overhead crane that is in the building. Yeah, well, packaging is done quite nicely. It's a lot of plastic, and we used all the plastic and all the foam again when products that we made are shipped out. So it's a lot of plastic, but it's gonna be reused. It already is reused. The price of this machine is around 30,000 euros. That is excluding transport and excluding Eding CNC. I'm installing my own controller, and that's not because Syntec isn't good. I believe Syntec is great, but there just isn't any service for Syntec in the Netherlands. And Eding CNC, which is a Dutch product, is real easy to use, easy to work with. All the guys in the company know how it works, and I just connect the control cards to the servo drives and to the spindle. It will take me about 4 days, and then the machine is rewired for Eding CNC, which is great because all my machines are controlled with Eding, and that makes there is no learning curve to learn a new package or new software or new things that are just a little bit different with another software package. The nice thing is, when I wire the machine, I do the final wiring of the machine myself. There are no glitches or faults or error codes that are difficult to fix, because I know how it's wired. I don't need a manual to see what's wrong. I've written the manual. There's another company on a small island near the Dutch coast that has bought exactly this machine, and they paid me to convert it to Eding CNC. And what's important to know, I'm not an electrical engineer. My job is to make furniture and small scale series productions of wooden products. You can check the site samosa.nl. And I think the interesting view about that is that these machines are the machines that pay the wages, they pay the rent, they pay for, it's the heart of the company. And every adjustment that I do is made from the viewpoint that it has to be a easy to work on machine without any details or features that are unnecessary. Safety, of course, is really important, so air pressure is monitored, infrared screen is monitored, is connected, so you cannot enter the machine working area without the machine noticing and stopping. There are 7 or 8 input signals that are monitored constantly for over travel, overheating of the spindle, servo drive error, that kind of stuff. And you can hear the beep from the crane that is signaling that we are almost at the farthest it can extend its boom. So it's gonna give the warning signal. Just that's all we got. Now the machine is loose, it's nice. We can just put the in Dutch we call it palletwagen. I don't know the English term for it. The pallet in itself was about 300 kilograms of steel, so we made the local scrap dealer quite happy. In the background you can hear starting of the vacuum pumps of the other CNC that's just running the entire day. So when we are unloading this machine, the other machines are just keeping up production. And that's the nice thing about CNC. They just keep going day in and day out. You can hear a tool change in the background. Tool change done. And then you can hear ramp up of the spindle. And in a few moments you will hear the sound of chips being made. Now I remember we are making really small stuff at the moment, so now we are V-carving with a 3mm V-carving bit. There's not much sound to that. The crane is going as close to the building as possible, so that we can put our machine trucks under it. Machine movies we call them. It's always really exciting to be at this moment. You have a new machine. It has cost you quite a lot of money. They didn't put a stack of bricks in the shipping container and said fuck you. They delivered what they sold me. And of course, when you buy from China, you're gonna pay 100% before it's loaded on the container vessel, on container ship. So translation to English. When we are working right here, the other machine is doing its job, and there you can see it. It's making parts for hip tray. If trade is a customer that uses melanated birch ply, and they make nice stuff for vending. And this is really detailed V carving, so it looks like it's not doing much, but it's engraving the logo in the parts before cutting it out. The guy on the bolt guy is the crane operator, and these guys, they do nothing else the entire day than just operating these cranes. It's a real joy to work with. These guys are back transport from Nijmegen, and they ship a lot of these machines. To give you the time, the truck with the closed shipping container arrived at them at 8 o'clock in the morning. At 8:30 the machine was on their unloaded and on their truck, and at 11:30, so let's say 2.5 hours later, 3.5 hours later, sorry, they were gone. And if you think, well, did they charge something like 90 bucks an hour, 90 euros an hour? So for 300 euros, they unload the machine from the shipping container. They help you with putting it in its place, and it's just such a good deal for their expertise. Because you don't want to do this yourself. As you can see, I'm pushing with a stick to put the roller in its right place. I have seen too much stuff happen with people that are just a little bit careless for one moment, and then something snaps or something moves, and then your finger is crushed. Of course, I also make mistakes, but in this case, it is no problem to break the machine. It's, yes, it's not you won't be happy, but crushing some limbs or a leg is much worse. Okay, the machine is halfway inside now. They thank God it's dry, so no hurry. And the crane operator is gonna use the strap at the back of the machine to push the machine in as far as possible. And of course I have no patience, so I start unpacking right away. There are vacuum tubes under the machine, which go to a collector tube, and on that tube are welded all the vacuum valves, and the valves go with flexible hoses. You can see them right now, go to the zones that are there are 8 zones on the machine. And at the moment we're gonna lift on the end of the machine, so I'm just checking that we're not gonna crush one of those pipes or one of the solenoids. And as you can see, I'm holding my hand on the outside of the strap, because the sound of breaking bones is not nice. The front of the machine is on the rollers. These are quite small rollers for this size of machine, so we need to be careful not to pushed him over, but the truck operator, no, the crane operator knew what he was doing. The crane operator is just checking not to hit the building, of course. So he cannot push the machine entirely inside, but close enough. And on the inside we have the luxury of a really big overhead crane. So we can just pick up the machine with the crane and start assembling. And of course a few cups of coffee. Really, really important to keep everybody happy. At the moment I'm talking with the crane operator that the overhead crane is, if you can see the hook in the door, it's a really, really heavy overhead crane, but the building is not heavy enough to support the entire lifting capacity. So the lifting safety limit has been reduced to 6 tons, 6,000 kilograms. And I'm just talking to the operator because we never ever use this crane. That, yeah, it works, but it also hasn't been maintained for a few years. So I was just talking to him, what do we need to check for this one time that we use it. And he says it will be fine, no problem. This is heavy stuff. We moved the chain inwards to our own overhead crane, so we can lift the machine inside. Oh. You have two buttons on the crane. It's the fast and the slow button, and of course I press the fast button. And in the background, in the left, you can see the green light of the CNC router that's happily doing its job while we are moving in its big brother. That's the overhead crane. The building, the last user was a metal fabrication, a metal workshop, and they used it for their bigger projects. For us, it's totally useless. Only once every few years it's useful for us to move a machine into its place like this. And you can see in the background we have a machine, and underneath the machine the CNC router will be placed, and on top we use it for storage of big projects. So when we finish some projects we can just put it on there, and it's a safe place. I just skipped a bit about the final lifting operation because it just wasn't interesting. This is the Tongyu vacuum pump, and I believe that it's performance-wise the same as the Becker type, the 250 cubic meters an hour, but it's a bit cheaper. And for me, I have two machines. This is gonna save me a few $1,000s of euros or whatever. For me, the choice was if I was totally dependent on this one vacuum pump, I would buy Becker. But I have already have two Beckers, and in the end I have 4 vacuum pumps. So 2 of them from Tongyu, and I believe the brand is fine. It's a small gamble, but I think it's a quite safe gamble. The pumps are an incredible 350 kilograms a piece. And that is much heavier than the 150 cubic meter type that is standard. But this working area of this machine is quite big, so I've chosen the big vacuum pumps. I've also worked with the liquid ring vacuum pumps that are much cheaper. And are also really reliable, but they are more of a hassle to connect. You have to, with liquid ring vacuum pumps, you have to have a steady flow of water on the right temperature, and this system is just easier to connect and easier to work with. The only thing is, in the end, they probably need a bit more maintenance. The packaging of the vacuum pumps was really high end, and the crates they were shipped in, we used again to ship our own products out of the door. So far, this entire job, we had nothing to complain about packaging, no transportation damage at all. As you can see, there are some parts on the CNC that are just from China, just testing and basic shapes. And they just reuse it as packaging material to protect the machine bed. That are the vacuum hoses. So they are used to connect the CNC router to the vacuum pumps. And on the side you can see the bridge laying on metal blocks with the cable chain. I'm not sure what the English term is, but the black chain that's used to for all the wiring to the X and the Y axis. The machine is fixed with nylon straps. You just cut them away. The machine bed on this machine is a double layer vacuum bed, and the nice thing about it is that you can use vacuum cups. You can see a little round, that one, the little round air hole, and the machine has about I think 500 of them, and you can put razor cups over the holes. And then you can use, you can vacuum clamp parts higher than the machine bed. Let's say you want a CNC router door, and you want to put some hinges on the side with an aggregate. Then you can use the razors. And also your vacuum bed is much more stable. It's about 4 centimeters thick. That's the control cabinet with the computer. I've bought it without a controller, and I'm gonna put in Intel NUC connected to Eding CNC. And they are checking how heavy it is. The fun fact is, when I was doing this, I was I think in a short meeting or something. I had to go for a moment, but these two guys have never done this before, so they are not at a loss, but it's all new to them. In a few moments I will join them again, and we'll see how it goes. For me this is also quite fun. This is for me the first time that I see those two guys doing this. So it's Nico is cleaning up. Very good. Sorry. What you can see from the packaging is that they took their time to make it all safe for production. Oh, we're going somewhere. I think we're gonna go for coffee. That's the bridge with the Z-axis and the HSD spindle. I really like the engineering of it. It's open, you can see what's going on. There's no shiny covers that are hiding something. Oh, there I am again. Nico is holding one of the motors, and we're just unloading everything so we can see what's happening. And this is always so much fun, just to open it up and see what's in it. In Dutch you say it's just like Santa. You can see the linear tool changer. It's the most basic type there is, but I like it because there are no extra electronical parts or moving parts. You can't break it. There goes the vacuum pump, which looks a lot like a vessel from Star Trek. And we're gonna put them on the machine so they are out of the way. One of the problems with our overhead crane is that we put the machine in a few months ago, and the machine is quite high. It's the top is 4 meters high, and the crane that is it's almost useless to us can just reach that height. So we had problems with lifting the vacuum pumps on the machine. In the end, in a few weeks, our new reach truck will arrive, and then all the troubles will be gone. And here we are just figuring out how we can lift it safely. And this is not the safe way. As you can see, he's... I'm just telling him we can do it this way. The lifting strap is more than strong enough, but we are loading it on the... We're putting forces on it that are not the right way. so we're gonna get shorter lifting straps. But in the end, still, it wasn't the best or easiest way to do it. The supplier of our steel, the metal bar that we use for our tables, legs and that kind of stuff, they always leave their straps and they just take them once in every few months, take them back. So for now it was quite handy. The thing is, we have to lift it this close because otherwise we cannot get high enough to get it on the machine. So sometimes it's not the way you like to work, but you have to do it sometimes. And as long as when everybody is knowing what we're doing and not standing underneath the load, in the worst case it will come down and then it will be toast, but you don't want that, of course. And in the back you see the machine working. The CNC router in the back is about 5 years old. We use it every day, and it's without it I could close the doors. Yeah, probably somebody that knows what they're doing is cringing right now. But for us it was okay. For the next half an hour we're gonna try and put this motor on the machine. So I'm gonna skip a bit and save you some time. And will you look at that? Both the vacuum pumps are on the machine. And they are still there, by the way. We haven't touched them since they are there. That overhead crane is so enormous. Duck, heads down, and we're done. As you can see, there are also no railings at the moment because we just finished it. This is a part of the stage that oh well, it's done. That's the most important thing. Okay, now for the fun part. Mounting the overhead crane. At least, sorry, mounting the bridge. As you can see, it's thick metal. It's machined all the way around. And the mounting holes for the motor and for the linear guides are all it's like putting a really big IKEA cabinet together. All the loose parts we put in one of the transport carts so that we won't lose anything. And you can see the position of the linear guides on which the bridge will rest. At this moment I was saying the Dutch version of oh shit, because I just got the straps that the Chinese used to lift the bridge, and I had cut them before I noticed that I could reuse them to put the bridge back in its position. So we had to restrap it. No problem, of course, but it's gonna take a bit of time. The thing I love about this machine is there is nothing on it that isn't functional. It's just clean, pure industrial design. So only design focused on. Oh. Oh. This is what I'm telling them is that it's the mounting rack that you put on a bridge, and because the machine is quite long, it will you can mount the extraction tubes on it, so that they won't be hanging in the way of the machine. They will travel with the machine. And this is just a bit of a puzzle. Where is the center balance? The how do you call this? Yeah, I don't know. What is the right position to lift it? I mean, this is a 600 kilograms piece of steel. I think, I have no idea what it really is. It's a lot. How do you lift it that it doesn't topple forwards or backwards? And you need to lift it straight because you need to mount it on the linear guide. But here you can see the attention to detail. The big bolts that are used. Everything is packed nicely. It's where the hand of Quint is resting. You can see that this painted and machined after, so that all the crucial measurements are not covered with paint. You can see the alignment nuts, the little black, small black pieces on top of the on the columns that go to the bridge, and you can use them to square out the bridge, but it is square as delivered, so I never had to touch it. They do it in China and you stay away from it because they know what they're doing. At this moment you just gently start lifting. That's one. Other side. As you can see, I took the controls from Quint because I'm a bit of a control freak. I think that's one of the bad habits that's part of being an engineer. At this moment there's nothing dangerous. We're just gonna tip it over a bit, and when it is standing up, we're gonna put extra straps on it just to make sure it will not topple forward and damage the machine. The straps were too short for the toppling, because we would hit the extraction unit, and again this is probably not how you should use lifting straps, but it works. Easy does it. Rustig aan. Dutch for easy does it. We're just discussing what's gonna happen. Just to check if, yeah, we're gonna do this, and that's gonna happen, and keep out of the way, keep yourself safe, that kind of stuff. And of course, we're all engineers, so we all know best what to do. Here we are discussing, the thing is, the wires that are connected to the bridge and to everything on the big piece on the machine right now are connected through the wiring loom all the way to the cabinet. So we have to move everything at the same time, and now we are discussing, because there was some misunderstanding between us, how it should be done. This was quite a fun moment. We all meant exactly the same, only we were just misunderstanding each other. That's one of the things that are standards, I think, in our company, that we're all in a heated discussion. No, we have to do this, and then we do that, and we turn that way. Oh, we're discussing for 10 minutes and mean exactly the same. Thanks, sorry. As you can see, the movement is limited. And you don't want to damage your... you don't want to damage your wiring. That's the most biggest pain in the ass to fix. At the moment we're gonna move it over, because at this moment it's the easiest to do that. We're moving the Electra cabinet. Okay, again I skipped a bit because it was taking too long. Not interesting to see. And here we are lifting again, and as you can see, there's quite a danger of toppling forward. That's what I'm saying in Dutch. We need to watch out it doesn't go forward. And this is the time just to put it straight and put it back on the ground, and put on a third strap around the dust collector tube just to make it safe. I'm searching for a ratchet strap just to even it out. Also, when lifting the machine like this, be very careful not to get cables underneath it or between it or whatever. This is just a precaution. It's to be sure that everything is safe. At least it will not topple. Please check if the wiring is safe. I'm not always the nicest person. In situations like this, I can be quite, how do you call it? Yeah, quite demanding. That's maybe the closest translation I can think of right now. I'm voicing my concerns that the motor, the spindle, and everything that's mounted to it is quite heavy, and it is above the lifting point, so I just want to be sure that it cannot topple. And there you can hear the dust collector shutting down and the vacuum pump shutting down because the job is done. So the CNC in the background I'm talking about. Look, that's much better. Nico, the older guy, is quite new to the company. He was an electrical engineer, and he is retired at the moment. But like a good engineer, when you're at home 5 days a week, you're gonna get crazy from yourself or from your wife. So he works 2 days a week with Samosa in a profession that is totally strange to him. But he's really a fun guy. He's a clever guy and he knows what he's doing. Only this profession is new to him. So he doesn't have the experience for this kind of job, but he does have the brains to give good input and think of ways to improve the workflow in the company. Now we're looking, did we fuck up or not? We didn't have enough wiggling space to move it around. So we're gonna move the bridge around so we can make the turn without breaking anything. And this does look quite clumsy, and I think if you work in a Chinese factory and you do this all day with the 100 machines that you sell every year, then you're probably gonna be a bit more how do you call it, elegant with this, but we manage. Stop, move over, turn, twist. That's it. There are 8 buttons on the control unit and we are always guessing which one does what because the symbols on the buttons are just not understandable. But this is starting to look good. The nice thing is that the machine is about 2 meters 30, I think 2 meters 50 wide in total. So that's road legal in the Netherlands to transport it over the road. So the thing that we are doing right now is just one time only. We assemble it and it probably will never ever be disassembled again. Unless you're gonna ship it again in a shipping container, but that chance is quite small. As you can see on the back of the machine how thick the metal is that the linear guides and the helical gear is welded through. It's just a block of metal, solid steel, 10 centimeters high, 5 centimeters thick. The machine is so incredibly heavy. I'm gonna put it on hold for a moment and I'm gonna skip a bit because I think this is gonna take quite a long time and it's not that interesting. It's just the mounting of the some parts. And that's the last screw. That saves you about 10 minutes of boring screwing something in place time. And yes, I know it's not exactly straight. But we are ready to mount the bridge on the machine. We're gonna clean all the contact surfaces because in China they oiled everything up, so it's lubricated with grease, transportation grease, and needs to be clean so there's nothing in between that's gonna jeopardize the accuracy of the machine. So we're cleaning the linear guide, the trucks, so how do you call it, the linear guide blocks, and all the mounting surfaces. And after we clean them, we also put on a new small coat of clean oil, just to prevent rust forming. On the back of the bridge you can see the yellow control panel with the oil reservoir beneath it. That's the automatic oiling, just to be sure that all the guides are oiled frequently. It's just a really thin film of oil just to keep it nice and rust proof. Rust free, of course. That's Dutch for I never know with this piece of shit. And Quint is trying to explain me because he knows already. In the back you can see exactly the same machine that's processing some material. Over the years they had some improvements. My machine, the one in the background is 5 years old, and this one is brand new, of course. And there are some minor differences, but it's not much. And there's a screw that fell into the vacuum in the images. That happens, of course. We have to line everything perfectly. It's gonna be a tight fit. We're just gonna lower it into place, and we can just put in the screws manually. If we cannot put them in manually without tools, there's something wrong with the alignment. You don't want to damage the threads on the guides. This is quite a precision job because this is big and heavy and millimeters to spare, and you don't want to damage your wheel or something. So this is really important, just to go slow and go easy. What's nice to see is the thickness of all the metal of the mounting plates. I think it's about 2 or 2.5, 2 centimeters or 25 millimeters thickness, something like that. And everything feels so solid about this machine. And of course we don't want scratches. As you can see, the wiring loom is nicely divided into signal wires and power wires, with the compressed air lines in the middle. This side is already lower than the machine bed, but the other side is still hanging on it, so it's gonna be a bit of a jerk. Lower it a bit. We're trying on the other side first to get the linear guard underneath to construct the structure. And he says it's about 2 millimeters. Slide them underneath. Wait a moment, it's not working. Lower it. It's not exactly level, so we're gonna lower the one side first on the blocks and then the other side. As you can see, it's a big machine. We're putting in the screws on the other side so that it's at least on one side aligned and fixed, and then we can lift it again just to align the other side. The fun thing is I bought about, let me count, I think about 10 machines in China. And from the very first one, that was cheap and small and selected on the cheapest supplier and not on the best, I never ever have been really disappointed. Yes, one supplier is much better than the other, but all the machines have made money for me, and has also the cheap machines, they just gave me the time to learn the trade with a low investment, and learn how a CNC machine works. I just said that everything is going fine, it's just really heavy, and when we remove the straps and it's on the linear guides, you can push it around with one finger because that's how smooth it goes. Now I'm gonna skip a bit again, because otherwise it's gonna take way too long for this video to end. Okay, all the bolts are connected. We can remove all the straps and the machine is taking on its final form. And because the motors are not connected yet, there is no resistance on the bridge. So this is always a nice moment. That's how smooth it goes. And you can just move it around with 2 fingers. One of the most important things is at this stage, be sure that the end blocks on all the axes are mounted, because if you push it too far, it's just gonna drop off and destroy your whole machine on the end of the linear wheels. Dinner time. Okay, apparently lunch is over. We're mounting all the loose parts. Ik weet dat het helemaal nutteloos is om nou erop te zetten, maar ik wil The place is difficult to reach and Nico is teasing me. Okay, what you see here is the bridge is mounted, all the basic parts are done. What do we need to do is put it in its position, level it all out with the machine level, mount the motors and start wiring it up to Eding CNC. But the hard work, or at least the heavy lifting, is done. And why am I making this video? Because I just love this process. It's the company, the Samosa, is 12 years old now, so the company is we are well beyond our startup phase, and we are just doing no nonsense, good quality engineering for other designers, interior architects, shop displays, whatever, and we use all the automation that is possible. When something can be done by a CNC in half an hour, that manually takes 20 minutes, you do it by CNC, because in the half hour that the machine is working, you can do something else. And in the end, a machine like this is quite difficult to master. It's gonna take thousands and thousands of hours to be able to use this machine until its full potential. And of course, I have to be honest, I don't even know if I am able to use it until its full potential, but I can make an honest buck out of it. The power of these machines, the simplicity, the you can do it yourself idea of it is quite amazing. And if you look at what you get for the bang for bucks, is not, it's impossible to beat, I think. So the machine in the back is about 5 years old. This one is brand new, and the machine in the back, it doesn't look like it has any serious wear and tear or something like that. But I bought it because let's say you're loading the machine with a forklift and you fuck up really badly and you run the forklift into the motor, whatever. It's almost impossible, but there are ways to fuck it up really nice. That's why I wanted a second machine. On the other side, sometimes we have jobs for one customer that's taking 10 days of CNC cutting. So 10 days, the machine and all the tools are programmed for one job only. And at that moment, it's really nice to have a second machine to do all the small stuff. You need less planning, less organization. And our company at the moment is at the stage that it's beneficial to have a second machine there. This is just aligning it, putting it in its place. The leveling, Rob did that, thanks Rob. It's still quite a long job to do it precisely and nicely because it's such a big machine. If you're lifting one side, it's going to influence the entire bed. Even if you look at how stiff it is, just adjusting one thing is going to influence the entire thing. That's it. This is how such a machine is delivered from China, and this is what I have no idea. Maybe you learned something, and if you have questions, just ask. I just wanted to show you how we do this. Thanks, have a great day, bye bye.